let's get the show moving right along. We have quite a bill for you. Let's give it up for Zack McIntyre.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause. I would love to keep kissing you guys' ass, but I have 15 minutes to get through a 20-minute set, so let's get started. I was on Facebook the other week, and I saw that WSFA had posted an article about an autism awareness 5K that was going on. So naturally, I went to the comments to see what people had to say about it. And I was dismayed to find that there were a lot of comments, particularly from people of the older generation, saying things like, oh, well, when I was growing up, we didn't have autism. It's overdiagnosed today. And some people were even saying that something like a vaccine could be causing it. And I gotta say, I fundamentally disagree with those people. I don't think that autism is on the rise. I don't think that vaccines are causing it. I think it's always been a thing. I think people have always had it. We just figured out what it was, and we started paying attention to it. But people have always had it. Take your grandfather, for example. A man who collected stamps. A man who had his wife packing the same lunch every single working day of his career. A man who would info dump facts about the Civil War during family dinner. You cannot convince me that that man was neurotypical. In fact, I'm gonna be honest, I think most boomers had some form of autism. Have you seen how mad those motherfuckers get in McDonald's when you fuck up their order? Tell you, for an autistic, getting your food fucked up, that's like the one thing, don't do it. If anything causes autism, it's lead paint. But let's go a little bit further back than that. Look at Plato, for example. This is a guy that wrote The Republic. It's a 108,000 word book on how he thought people should be, socially on a government level and individually on a moral level. And he wrote that shit in 300 BC by hand. Plato had autism. I think most great people throughout history had some form of autism or another. Because, autism oftentimes comes with some kind of fixation. And usually it's some kind of bullshit like trains or anime. But every now and then, we get lucky. We get an autistic like MLK, and he says, fuck trains. I like civil rights. And if that joke offends you, it's because you think there's something wrong with having autism. There's nothing wrong with having autism. At all. In fact, I've often wondered myself if I might have autism, as well as anybody else who's ever interacted with me. Because, socially I tend to struggle. Oftentimes when I say things, people say, Zach, why are you so quiet? It's because when I say things, I can see red minus bars appearing above people's heads, like I'm in The Sims. Okay? I also tend to compare real-world experiences to pop culture references, as I just did. I know approximately how many words are in Plato's The Republic. I tend to end up with my foot in my own mouth when I say things, but it doesn't always go poorly. For instance, I was at work the other day. Hey, Melinda, how you doing? I see you're here. Oh, by the way, Melinda, what do I eat for lunch every single fucking day?
Chicken wrap.
There you go. Fried chicken wrap and French fries. But no, it doesn't always go bad. So someone made a passing comment about the selling of bath water. And so naturally, I went and got to explain to Melinda in detail both what an e-girl and an incel are. And now, from my perspective, this is how I explained it to her, okay? The e-girl is kind of an evolution of what I grew up with, known as the scene or alternative girl, right? And e-girls, for some reason, they seem to be what all the young men are into nowadays. And I'm just old enough to remember a time that before alternative scene was a thing, and it kind of spun off from what was known as goth and emo, right? And nobody thought that was attractive whatsoever. So what happened? What changed when goth and emo to e-girls nowadays? And I think I know exactly what it was. It was in 2003. I was 9 years old, and Evanescence dropped their hit single, Bring Me to Life. You guys remember that shit? You guys remember the music video for that shit? Okay, if you haven't seen it, let me set the stage. They're in an apartment. The camera pans in. It's like Gotham City for some fucking reason. Amy Lee's laying on a bed. She starts to get up. She's in a nightgown. She's sauntering around. Long black hair flowing. Pasty white skin glowing. She's beautiful. There's some guy in an apartment above her. He's screaming. He's got 12 bracelets and frosted tips. She saunters over. She gets up close to the window. She's getting ready to jump out and kill herself. And I think that was the moment right there that changed a lot of men's minds. A bunch of men saw that moment and were like, yeah, girls that want to kill themselves need dick too, don't they? No, maybe that was just me though. I was an incredibly horny bastard as a kid growing up. I used to do some unspeakable things underneath my parents' roof. My in-laws are here today, by the way. Hey, Alex. Oh, my guidance counselor from high school. Hey, Miss Monica, how you doing? But I grew up in a kind of conservative household, so I had to be really sneaky, and it was prior to the smartphone age. So what did I have to do for porn? I couldn't use the family computer. I used my Nintendo Wii. I would use the internet browser. I would get on it, and if you guys know, the Wii internet browser could not play videos, but it could play GIFs. So I would watch the same shitty 10 frame per second GIFs of like a woman taking her top off and it would loop. When my mom would come home from grocery shopping, I would rush outside to be the first one to help her in. Not because I was a good kid. I just wanted to be the first one to rip open the fishnets on the slutty oranges. Amanda, Alex, I'm sorry about this next one, okay? One time I walked into my parents' kitchen. I grabbed a cup, plastic cup, okay? I grabbed 2 fresh kitchen sponges as well. I wet them. And I placed them inside of the cup lengthways, yellow side facing in. I then went into the cleaning supply closet and I grabbed a rubber glove. I placed it in between these 2 sponges. I put the wrist of the rubber glove around the rim of the cup. You guys following me? I then took this device into my room with me. I turned on my Xbox 360. I used a lot of game systems. I would take my parents' debit card out of my pocket. I'd freshly stolen it from them. And I proceed to rent any movie that has titties in it. Doesn't matter. I grab my kitchen Frankenstein of a fleshlight. And I fuck it. As you guys may well imagine, I struggled a lot with the ladies growing up, possibly due to the autism. But I was self-aware about it. I knew that I struggled. I knew that I needed some kind of way to figure out how to talk to women, how to get on the inside, get insider info. So what did I do? The only thing a sensible person could do in that situation. I joined the cheerleading team. I was a cheerleader my senior year of high school, as well as 4 years in college. And I gotta say, unironically, I did learn a lot. For instance, I learned it's incredibly easy to tell when someone you lift and throw through the air every single day has gained about 2 or 3 pounds. What I never learned was that usually after this happened, they would take a day trip to like Virginia or Illinois and then come back later. I never figured out what that was about. If you didn't get that joke, I'm not explaining it. No, but in all seriousness though, I actually did learn a lot. Ultimately what I learned was that women are in fact people too. And it's not that I ever thought women were subhuman in any kind of way whatsoever. It's just that I learned there's a lot less that separates the 2 genders than I previously thought. I learned that stereotypes are oftentimes untrue, and when they are true, it's usually only superficially. I learned that I shouldn't have been asking myself, how do I talk to women? I should have been figuring out, how do I talk to people in general? And once I learned that, it got me somewhere, and I'm married today. Hey, babe. Thank you for being here. But while we're talking about stereotypes, while being a male cheerleader, I often got asked a question. And that question, of course, was whether or not I was gay. And, it was always asked in the type of way like Tucker Carlson would ask the question, Like, I'm not really saying this. If you called me on it, I didn't say it. But the implication behind the question is that being a male cheerleader makes me gay, right? And I gotta say, it was always like a certain type of dude that would ask me that question. There was never a woman. A woman never asked me that question about being a cheerleader. Always men. And it was always the type of guy, that they're so afraid to like wash their own ass in the shower, they just curse the rest of us and smell like shit everywhere they go. The kind of guy that'll hang like a perfect replica of the male nutsack underneath his vehicle and drive around with it like that. If he's got a girlfriend, he's bitching about her. If he's single, he's bitching about the women that won't date him. He's always going on about the superiority of the male form and how much better men are than women, how much smarter, stronger, and faster. And those really are some of the gayest dudes, aren't they? Now, before I get into this, I want to make something clear, okay? I'm not about to make fun of homosexuals or some homosexuality. I am an ally, okay? Thank you. I'm just using homosexuality as a tool to make fun of another group of people that I know it will piss off. And if you're asking, how could I do such a thing? How could I take a marginalized group's struggle and use it to make my own point? It's because I'm a white man. That's kind of my thing. But no, those really are some of the gayest dudes, aren't they? I mean, think about the points I just made. Male nutsacks underneath your vehicle, hating women, going on about the superiority of the male form all the time. But here I am, I'm stereotyping now. I'm fully aware that you can absolutely appreciate the male nutsack for its artistic integrity without that necessarily making you a homosexual. It's just objectively gayer than me hanging out with women all day. That's my only point. So what did I have to do? What did I need to figure out, I developed a way to tell 100% if a man is gay or straight without relying on any stereotypes whatsoever. And it comes in the form of a question. It's a deceptively simple question. All you have to do is ask him what he thinks about the fact that single women get horny and enjoy having sex just the same way men do. And this is my whole point. A straight man is not going to be aware of this information. He's going to want to know more. He's going to want to know when. He's going to want to know where. But a gay man is going to have some kind of issue with this information, isn't he? And my whole point here is that I've used this question many times over the years when I suspect I'm dealing with one of the men I'm talking about. Because they like to propose that women should have sex with less men, and they should only be saving themselves for their husbands, and they shouldn't sleep around. And they do it from a very, misogynistic point of view. And I love pointing out how objectively gay that is to them. I mean, because as a straight man, is it not our goal to have more women having sex with more men? Is that not, no one agrees with that? I would think that as a straight man, we want more women having sex with more men, not less. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, actually, it makes perfect sense. They do it because they're insecure. Okay, I got 2 minutes left, maybe? Okay, I got 2 minutes left. Room for one more. With me white knighting up here, it might surprise you guys to know that I was once actually incredibly conservative in my life. I was also very religious at one point in my life. So much so that when it came time for me to go to college, I chose to attend Faulkner University. Yeah. That was all Montgomery people. They said, ooh, they're from Montgomery. They know Faulkner. And I got a degree in biblical studies. So what changed? What happened? Why am I up here telling you about who I wanted to fuck when I was 9, what I fucked when I was 12, if I have a degree in biblical studies? Well, some of the changes came while I was in college, which of course happens. You go to college, you expand your horizons, you meet new people, you learn new things, you're introduced to new concepts, you'll be naturally more accepting of new ideas and new people. And that's a very natural process, despite what Fox News will tell you about. But that's not actually what changed my mind, no. What changed my mind was I was in church one day, and they were doing their little songs or sound and worship. It was real early in the morning, and the sound system fucked up. And their sound system was like one of these, okay? But it fucks up. So what do you guys think the preacher did? What do you think he said? Miss Alabama, someone said it. Yeah, he got out there and he blamed the fucking devil. And I start looking around the room, and I'm seeing these people, they're nodding their heads, agreeing this guy, like, yeah, the devil did this shit. And these are people that, they've raised children, they have full-time jobs, they drive motor vehicles on the same roadways as us. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, I turned into Randy Jackson for a second. I was like, this ain't it, dog. It's going to be a no for me, dog. And as I wrap up, before I get off, I want to make something clear. If you are religious, I do not look down on you whatsoever. I don't think I'm better than you. Miss Monica, she's here. I haven't seen her in years. She's an amazing, beautiful, God-fearing woman. Thank you for coming out here tonight. You are one of the greatest people I've ever known. I don't think any less of religious people. But if a shitty sound system fucks up and you agree with the guy that blames the goddamn devil, I might be better than you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.